Hey guys, welcome back. If you've ever wanted to draw a Space Marine but you felt super overwhelmed by all the complex armor and details, then it's your lucky day. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to draw a Space Marine and even a repose afterwards using this simple method. Okay, so grab your pencil or your tablet. Let's dive in. So first things first, we're going to start by creating a rough gestural sketch. Okay, now if you're not familiar with gesture drawing, it's a way to quickly capture the energy and the flow of your character without getting caught up in all the details yet. Right, so I'm going to sketch very loosely with energy, but not, I have to stress, not fast. Okay, you don't want to draw fast, but you still want to have that energy and that looseness, that flowing lines, okay, within your gestural sketch, okay, to represent the action and the movement, okay, that you want your Space Marine to have. So think of this stage as laying down the kind of the skeleton, okay, the underjoint. Ask yourself, what is your Space Marine doing? All right, is he charging forward heroically, or is he bracing for battle, firing his weapon, whatever it may be? Okay, for my sketch, I'm going for like a dynamic standing pose, right? So he's in like a cautious, at the ready stance. His feet are in a bracing pose, but they're ready for anything, right? So just notice how I'm using long and confident lines, okay, to create this gestural sketch. Remember that drawing from your shoulder to keep that movement fluid. At this point, don't worry too much about the accuracy or proportion. Obviously, you need to think about it a little bit, but you know, it's about capturing the essence and the energy of your pose and not about, you know, super clean and lovely lines. So my quick tip, exaggerate the pose a little bit, okay? Because once we start adding in armor and details, the pose naturally becomes a bit stiffer. So exaggerating the pose right now, like exaggerating a bit at this stage, is going to ensure that your final drawing will feel dynamic and a bit lively. Right, great job so far and getting this far, okay? You've got the gesture down. If it's feeling loose and messy, that's really good. Means you're on the right track. Okay, so let's get on and jump into the next section. Alright guys, so we've got a gesture down, right? So we're going to start constructing the simple shapes on top. Now, this step is really important because it helps us easily map out the proportions, okay? And we need to understand those 3D dimensional forms we're working with, because that's how you're going to create a 3D drawing. So we're going to be using basic shapes, okay? Like boxes, spheres, cylinders, ellipses. Okay, these are the building blocks of basically drawing anything, but especially for our Marine today. Okay, and what's interesting about Space Marines, they basically break a shape design principle really well. You see, Space Marines they're using a lot of circular forms, right? Ellipses and those kind of shapes, which usually in shape design means like approachable and like warm and kind. But it doesn't, I don't know about you, but for a Space Marine, those words don't really mix well. They don't match up with a Space Marine. So Space Marines do really well at breaking that design principle. Now I call it a design principle and not a rule because it isn't a rule. You can break it, and Space Marines show that. So I'll start sketching basically a large egg shape for the chest and the upper torso. This shape gives me and you a solid foundation, okay, making it easier to place the other shapes accurately throughout the drawing. These shoulders on a Space Marine, right, they're huge, they're rounded, they're these big pauldrons, and the shape that we're going to use perfectly fits them is a sphere, right, or an ellipse. Okay, it doesn't need to be a perfect circle, but it works perfectly for the pauldrons. So just pop two big circles on top of the torso box, okay, or the egg shape to represent those iconic shoulder pads. Now personally, I've gone a bit more rougher sketch and not so much gestural. However, you'll see me, I'm going to put in basically a half circle, but if you're new to this, put in the full circle. All right, next let's use some cylinders for the limbs. Okay, so this approach keeps things simple, right, making it easier for you to establish the length and position of the arms and legs. Now it doesn't need to be perfect, okay, but remember that this construction is going to be your final under drawing. Now if you want to do another rough sketch on top, that's up to you, but for me this is the final under drawing. So remember to keep perspective in mind. Cylinders closer to us appear larger, okay, and slightly overlap those behind them. So reinforcing depth and dimension. Don't forget the head either, okay? So it's a simple sphere or an oval on top of the torso is perfect for now. Okay, the helmet details, they can come later, okay? But at this stage, it's about simplification, keeping things simple and constructing and making sure that we understand the 3D forms, okay? Don't hesitate to adjust shapes, okay? Something looks off, it's part of the process, right? Adjusting as you go. Keep checking back to your gesture to ensure your shapes match the dynamic pose you set earlier. All right. Okay, great work. Okay, so our shapes are set. All right, our space marine is looking solid and hopefully 3D. Right, so if you're learning something new and you're enjoying this video, please go ahead and yeet your stylus at that like and subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow, and trying to hit 1,000 amazing artists by the end of April. So if you want to contribute to that and be part of the community, please do subscribe. Now, let's bring in those epic details to our marine. All right, this is the last step. It's all about refinement. Now we have a rough sketch, right? We have our basic shapes mapped out. We'll start adding in clean and detailed line work. Now, depending on your style, this could mean super duper clean lines, okay, or more sketchy. I personally love to try and keep or create a nice balance, okay, between sketchy and clean. I don't like super duper clean, not too sketchy either. So that's me trying to find that balance. Now, you can go however you want, okay, completely up to you and your style. This stage does take some patience. Okay, this is where you really want to slow down, but it's incredibly rewarding, okay, because you get to see your sketch and your construction drawing turn into some epic space marine. Right, so I begin with the armor, okay, with the backpack. Focus on those bold lines, okay, bring around the chest and the shoulders, the helmet. Okay, it's key here is to slow down and just work carefully. Take your time. This is the final piece, right? It's the final drawing. Okay, each piece of armor is defined by crisp edges, okay? Those angular forms. Now, you can stylize this and you can go super angular, or you can go super curvy, or you can really stick to the reference. Now, I encourage you, and I always encourage people to push outside whatever you're referencing, okay? If you're drawing a space marine or you're drawing, you know, an xenomorph, try to add some of your own flair and your own design to that. Make it your own. Instead of being a copy machine, just make it your own, right? Now, remember to keep your pencil or your stylus pressure steady, right, to maintain consistent line quality. However, you can add in some solid black like I do, okay, in the shadow areas to create, this way it creates makes the space marine or your drawing pop more. As you detail the armor, start to introduce those iconic shapes, okay, that we know and love for space marine. You know, these shapes are instantly recognizable, okay, like the vented faceplate on a helmet, okay, the chunky shoulder pads, insignia of your chapter, okay, the purity seals, and the intricate mechanical joints. I really suggest as well that maybe try and create your own chapter, right? That's super fun. It's super, you know, it's your own after that. Like I said before, as a concept artist as well, I love to design more. Okay, this tutorial was fun, but in the future I'll probably do it. Next time I do a space marine for myself, I will probably push it and kind of design my own space marine, my own chapter, add my own details and other pieces to it. Okay, when detailing the limbs, remember to follow those like the cylindrical shapes that you created in the constructional drawing. Okay, this is going to ensure your armor feels convincing and three-dimensional, which is very important. Also, you want to pay attention, okay, to areas where armor pieces overlap, because these create nice visual interest and they help reinforce the perspective and the depth of your drawing, which will make it look even more 3D. All right. Now, the weapon details. Okay, add the weapon details carefully, right? Whether it's a bolter, chainsaw, plasma pistol, sketching the weapon clearly, right? It's gonna accurately, basically. It's gonna help enhance your marine's narrative, right? The storytelling part is super important. Okay, what story are you telling with your drawing? Okay, make sure the weapon matches your pose's energy as well, right? If it's a moving pose, dynamic moving pose, you know, add that dynamism, okay, to your drawing. That is a damn hard word that I don't say very often. Finally, okay, let's sprinkle in some of that battle damage. This is one of my favorite parts. I love this part, and I usually do it as I'm going, as you probably saw in the drawing. But if you want, you can leave it till the end, right? And then add in all those final scratches and bumps and battle damage, the weathering, the chipped paint or chipped metal, the bullet marks. Maybe there's an entire piece, a massive chunk of the shoulder pad just ripped off, or some tyranny that's ripped it, scratched through it. Okay, just make it your own, right? You are not a copy machine, right? AI can do that. AI can copy crap. You are a human being with human creativity, and you should push it. Push your drawing as far as you can. Okay, this is you. Don't be AI, don't be a copy machine. Make the drawing your own, add your own details, add your own design elements. If you want to change the design of the shoulder pads, do it. You want to change the design of the helmet, do it. You want to change the design of the weapon or anything, you can do it. It can still look like a Space Marine, but be your own design as well. I didn't do it with this drawing because this is a tutorial, is just showing how to draw a Space Marine. Okay. However, in the future, I think I may just do that. I may redo another Space Marine video where I show how to push it, right? So let me know down in the comments if you would like that. If you made it this far to the video, thank you so much as well. But let me know down in the comment section if you would like me to do a video on how to design your own Space Marine. All right, great job everybody on getting this far, and thank you for watching the video this far. If you are here, you are amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, so that's your Space Marine done, all right? Your drawing done. Thank you a ton for hanging out, okay, and drawing with me and sketching with me and listening to me. Okay, please go ahead and yeet your stylus at that subscribe button. Okay, let's hit 1,000 amazing artists by the end of April. That would be incredible to grow this channel like that. So if you're interested in what I have, I've got some great videos planned, okay, coming up at the over the next basically month in April. I'm gonna move away from these kind of tutorials for a month basically, and really focus on more concept art stuff. So if you're really interested in design, character design, creature design, you know, even vehicle design, all of that stuff is coming up over the next month and the rest of the year. And I will sprinkle in some tutorials like this as we go through the year as well. So if that interests you, please do subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.